Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJA Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today it is Monday, February 2nd, 2026. What a blessing to be present with all of you for all of these years, finding each other and sharing Torah and friendship every single day. Sandy and Jill, Neil, it's good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Linda and Rosa, Penny, thank you. It is broadcast 1482. Jody and Lydia, Jonathan and Bensi, Carl, Boker Tov, good to see you. Jack and Cecile, Ellen, nice to see you. Hi, Debbie. Amy and Stacy, good morning, friends. John and Andrew, hi. Sharon and Ron, Deborah and Barry, Arlene, Natalia, good to see everyone. Hope that you and yours are safe and well. Let's take a breath, sing a bracha for learning, and we'll get into some Torah. Amy and Cheryl, good morning. Hi, Scott. Hi, Cynthia. Patricia, good to see you. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Corinne. Wow, Debbie, you're in the home of Ramban. Gewalt. Ya la 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 la, la 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 la. Today, la 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 la, ay la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kiddushanu במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה, הפוך בה והפוך בה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Today, la 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 la. Today, la 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 la. Ay la la la. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see you. And on this 1482nd broadcast, happy Tu Bishvat. You might not be familiar with the holiday of Tu B'Shvat, but let me first reference where Debbie is. She's on Instagram. Debbie is in the home of Ramban, Nachmanides, in Girona, Spain. I'm so excited that you're there because I'll start my reflection on Tu B'Shvat, on this holiday of nature, with the teaching of Ramban's, one of my favorite. For those who might not know, Nachmanides, not Maimonides. Nachmanides was a mystic, a Torah scholar, an incredible thinker, and he has a commentary on the book of Sefer Yetzirah, a book of mysticism that very few people read and fewer people understand. His comment is actually the most important thing I've ever experienced from the book itself, because what he reflects is our origin. What is our origin? By which I don't mean only people, I mean existence. Ramban, teaching on Sefer Yetzirah, which I learned myself from Rabbi Jeremy Kalmanovsky 30 years ago, says that all of existence is God exhaling. And Mashiach, that day, that final day, is when God will do this, where all of existence will reunite, will reunify with its divine source. And in this image, first of all, Nachmanides brings out an incredibly complicated, weighty, and holy notion of existence, which is we are all God's breath. And the idea of Mashiach, the end of time, we will cease to exist. All will cease to exist. The notion that there is a world of binaries where there's a difference between you and me and the snow and the sky and the tree and the ground itself. That is a world of illusion in God's allness. And I know this sounds like a strange thing to begin the day with. Some of us, it's not early in the day. Rosa's in Malta, so it's a different time of day. But I want to start with this because ultimately, the idea of unification with God sounds so holy, but the big gift of God's exhale in that metaphor is existence itself. But we should never lose sight of the implication, too, that all of existence is interrelated. We're all stardust. We're all made of the same stuff, all one breath. Everything that you can touch, everything you can see, everything we can name, the idea that there's a delineation between kinds of matter, kinds of existence. No. Martin Buber, famous Jewish philosopher, who's most famous for his concept of I and thou, which he didn't create, but he gave beautiful voice to. The notion of a dialogical encounter, something between me and another other. His teaching is that I must recognize that the other is not an extension of me. I can't understand another person. I certainly can't expect to even encounter the ultimate other, God. What I can do is make myself available to the reality of something that is not me. And so I stand, as Buber would suggest, before a tree and acknowledge that I don't understand. I don't know this tree. This tree is outside of my experience, and so I must be available even to the tree, to the snow, to the sky, to the other person. And maybe by practicing this mindfully, the dialogical encounter where no one and nothing is an extension of me, I am not entitled to anything. I am just what I am. That beautiful notion of relationship, equal others being available to each other. What a magnificent way to go through life. And channeling that teaching, understanding both the idea of Buber and of Ramban, Nachmanides. God exhaling that existence that is us and everything around us. When I truly am available to the other, it's not that they are me or that I am them. It's that we are all somehow connected to each other. Have you ever had that feeling? In relationship to another person, a child, a friend, a spouse, a parent, a seeming stranger, suddenly knowing, just knowing that they are pervaded by God's breath. And if that's true, then maybe I am too. We often misunderstand Tu Bishvat today as a holiday of the trees, and it's not a misunderstanding, really. Certainly, even the Mishnah says so, thousands of years ago, that the year has 4 New Years, and one of them is called Rosh Hashanah Le'ilanot, the New Year for the trees. But it's not trees, really. Not only trees. And if it is trees, then it's everything. As my beloved friend Neil Ross just wrote, we are stardust. We are golden. We are billion-year-old carbon. And we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. I know that quote from this song I really love. Yes. That's what we are. Good music always knows the heart of reality. So what is it to have a year that begins with the trees? We're taught in the Torah, Ki ha'adam etz hasadeh. A person is just like a tree in the field. And that means we are fragile like trees in fields. Our roots, our roots are complicated, but they're deep. And deep in the subterranean reality that we call existence. Deep in that subterranean reality we call existence, our roots come from the same stuff. We're all stardust, which means we can learn a lot by looking at the snow and the trees and the sky. We can learn so much from the different aspects of nature. Consider this. In a moment where I am stretching, trying to remember how to pray, because my prayer is stuck, as sometimes it does become, I can look to a tree who always knows how to reach for the light. The Kabbalists, the mystics, of which Nachmanides, Ramban was one, also had an image of an inverted tree, an upside-down tree with roots in heaven. But those are our roots too. Tu Bishvat is not a day for externalizing an appreciation of nature, though planting and tending and protecting this earth, that's a good thing to do every day. It's recognizing that we are created, that existence itself is created. Joy, I'm going to read out loud what you wrote. Joy just wrote, as we see the seasons change in Minneapolis, we see nature in action. Amen. May nature, the recognition that we are all of the same stuff, that's an answer to when we other each other. When, God forbid, we use force, human at human. May we learn from this holiday, friends, what it is to reach for life, to reach for the light, to learn from snow and the sky and the trees. If we could get that right, we could learn from each other again. And if we could get that right, we could be available for the one. Who knows what that would lead to? Please, God, it would help God continue exhaling, meaning our existence would be well tended, and we would know with greater clarity how interwoven we all are. Every fabric that leads to this tapestry that we call existence, it's all good stuff. So happy Tu B'Shvat, everyone. May we reflect on this day, on the cells that make up our body, on the cells that make up everybody, on the glory of light and nature and snow and the sky and every heart everywhere. Let's send our hearts to the east. Let's sing. Kol hod balevav penima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefatei mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים. Am Yisrael Chai. Happy Tu Bishvat, friends. Tu Bishvat Sameach. See you soon.